So in today's class, we will discuss about the total revenue represented by TR, average revenue AR, and marginal revenue MR. So the three concepts that we have in the concepts of the revenue of a firm, we shall discuss the relationship that exists between these three: the total revenue, average revenue, and the marginal revenue. And again, there is a very useful relationship that happens or that is existing between price elasticity of demand and the average revenue, the marginal revenue, at any level of output. We have a very useful relationship that is existing between the price elasticity of demand and the average revenue and the marginal revenue at any level of output. So let us study what this relationship is. We have discussed earlier that the average revenue curve of a firm is really the same, is actually the same thing as the demand curve of consumers for the firm's product. So average revenue curve of the firm is same and equal to the demand curve of a consumer for that particular product, because the revenue earned by the firm is nothing but the expenditure made by the consumer for that particular product. So AR curve, average revenue curve of the firm, is the same thing with that of the demand curve of a consumer for that particular product of the firm. Likewise, even the elasticity of the demand for the of a consumer's demand curve. So since the AR curve is the same thing, or it is equal to the demand curve of the consumer for that particular product of the firm, even the elasticity of demand at any point on a consumer's demand curve is also the same thing as the elasticity of demand on a given point on the firm's average revenue curve. So even the elasticity of demand by the consumers on a consumer's demand curve will be equal to the elasticity of demand at any point on the average revenue curve of a firm. So that is the basic relation that we have when it comes to elasticity of demand and also the average revenue and the marginal revenue. Since AR curve is equal to the demand curve of the consumer for that particular product of the firm, so elasticity of demand at any point on a consumer's demand curve will be the same thing as that of the elasticity of demand at any point on the firm's average revenue curve. And we have discussed price elasticity of demand. So let us consider the diagram, that is figure number 6. So as we have studied earlier, the elasticity at point R, or we have studied that price elasticity of demand at point R on the average revenue curve D dash in figure 6 is represented by RD dash divided by RD. So that we have discussed price elasticity of demand. So in this given diagram, the price elasticity for the demand curve at point R for the demand curve average revenue curve is represented by D dash. So at the demand curve average revenue demand curve of the firm D dash at point R, what is the price elasticity? So at point R, price elasticity is given by RD dash divided by RD. So here it is given here. Price elasticity at point R on AR curve D dash is found out by, or it is given by RD dash divided by RD. So the change in total revenue, the change in average revenue, the change in marginal revenue of a firm as price for that commodity falls and its quantity demanded and output increases, can be illustrated with the help of this diagram, that is figure 6. So you can recall that expenditure on a commodity at a given price is equal to the price multiplied by the quantity demanded and sold by the firm at that price. So total expenditure, or let us say TR, equals to P into Q. So P into Q, where P stands for price, Q stands for the output which is sold and produced. So now the expenditure on a commodity by the buyers is revenue earned by the firm producing and selling that commodity. So as I have mentioned above, the expenditure on a commodity by the consumers or by the buyer is the revenue earned by the firm producing and selling that commodity. So total revenue, here it will be total revenue is nothing but the price into quantity, and price into quantity is nothing but the total expenditure. So we can conclude that total revenue equals total expenditure, because the amount of expenditure that is made by the buyers for the particular product is the revenue, is the total revenue for the firm in producing and selling that product. So it will be seen from this figure 6 that given straight line DD dash, demand curve of the firm, at price OP, the quantity demanded is OQ. So the total revenue made by the firm from the sale of OQ quantity of commodity is OP into OQ. So the total revenue earned by the firm in selling OQ unit of output at OP price is area of OPRQ. So OPRQ is the total revenue which the firm, the shaded portion, which the firm earned by selling OQ unit of output at OP price. So total revenue is nothing but price into quantity. So the area of OPRQ is the total revenue. So let us connect this discussion with the elasticity of demand. So we have studied that elasticity, we have studied the price elasticity of demand. So we have price elasticity greater than 1, price elasticity less than 1, and unitary elasticity of demand. So how the total revenue, how this total revenue changes the shaded portion, and we have found, we have discussed how we obtain this total revenue. So how this total revenue changes as the price falls and the firm produces and sells greater quantity of the commodity will depend on the price elasticity of demand. So how this total revenue changes, how a firm changes the price, how a firm changes the quantity that is produced will depend on the price elasticity of demand. That is why in the beginning we have said that there is a useful relationship that exists between price elasticity of demand, the average revenue, the marginal revenue, at any level of output. So let us see price elasticity. So if at a given price, there are two cases that we have to consider here. So the first case is if at a given price is given, the price elasticity of demand, if it is greater than 1, what will happen to the quantity demanded and quantity sold? What will happen to all those? if price elasticity of demand is greater than 1. In that case, with the fall in price of a commodity, the increase in quantity demanded and sold will exceed the percentage change or percentage fall in price. Like we discussed in the price elasticity of demand, where in the case where price elasticity greater than 1, we have studied that the quantity demanded or sold will exceed the percentage change in price. So quantity produced or quantity sold will exceed the percentage change in the price, that is price elasticity greater than 1. And opposite to that, if price elasticity of demand is less than 1, which means that the change in quantity demanded or quantity sold will be less than the percentage change in the fall of price. So the fall in the price will be more than the change in the quantity demanded. But in the first case, the change in quantity demanded will be greater than the percentage change in the fall of the price. So first case is greater than 1, price elasticity of demand greater than 1. You will see that with the fall in price, the quantity demanded and the quantity sold increases will be greater, will exceed the percentage change in the fall in price. That is first case. Second case, when price elasticity of demand is less than 1. So with the fall in price, the quantity demanded and sold increases. And in this case, total revenue will decline. Why? Because the percentage change in the quantity demanded is less than the percentage fall in price. So quantity demanded here is less when we compare with the percentage fall in the price, which is the case of price elasticity less than 1. So don't get confused. The first case is price elasticity greater than 1. So in this case, like the price elasticity of demand, the quantity demanded and sold will be greater than the percentage fall in the price. And in the second case, when price elasticity of demand is less than 1, you will see that with the given fall in the price, quantity demanded will be lesser than the percentage fall in the price. So to make you clear, we are going back to the discussion of price elasticity of demand. So this case, when price elasticity is greater than 1, let us say that price falls from rupees 10 to rupees 9. So price has fallen and quantity demanded has, because of the fall in the price, quantity demand has increased from 10 units to 15 units of product. So quantity demanded has increased from 10 to 15, where because of the due to the fall in the price, so only 1 rupees is only 1 rupees is fallen here from rupees 9 to 10, but from 10 it has increased to 15, so 5 units has increased. So this is price elasticity greater than 1. The percentage change in quantity demanded for that unit increases, which is greater than the percentage change in the fall of price. The quantity demanded, the percentage change in quantity demanded for that unit, for that commodity is greater than the percentage fall in the price. That is price elasticity greater than 1. Opposite to that, price elasticity of demand less than 1. Suppose, let us say, price has fallen from rupees 20 to 15 units. So 5 rupees has fallen down, decline. So what happens to the quantity demanded? Quantity demanded increased by 10 units to 12 units. So here it is rupees 5 that has declined, but here quantity demanded is only 2 units. So the percentage change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage fall in the prices. That is price elasticity of demand less than 1. And in the second case, when price elasticity of demand is less than 1, the total revenue, that is PQ, will decline because of that. Because of this reason, the percentage change in quantity demanded has fallen, or it is less than the percentage fall in the price. That is why our total revenue will decline. So that is why we said that the total revenue changes as the price falls, and also the farm produce and sales output quantity, how much quantity is produced, will solely depend on the price elasticity of demand.